What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. So today we're going to go over what could potentially cause NIO to double in price and get up to $40 and when they could possibly hit that $40 mark. But before we jump into the video, I just wanted to mention that if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you sign up using the link in the description. You'll get 2 free stocks and they're both worth a minimum of $8 and possibly up to $1,600. All you have to do is sign up and deposit $100 and you'll get 2 free stocks. But now if we take a look at NIO today, they're actually up 4.5%. And if you guys saw the market last night, around when normal trading hours closed and it was after hours, President Trump actually tweeted out something about the stimulus bill and how both Republicans and Democrats couldn't agree on an amount for a new stimulus. So this kind of put a scare in the market and the market dropped quite a bit in after hours trading. So if we look at the 1 week on NIO, you can see they're down 0.2%. So here's the point where I'm talking about where the market dropped yesterday. And I guess it wasn't quite in after hours trading, but it was in like the last hour to hour and a half of normal trading hours. And you can see NIO dropped down to $20.67. And then this morning, a half hour after the market was open, NIO was back up to $21.64. So this slight pullback that the market had yesterday because of the scare with the stimulus bill, it hasn't really taken too much effect. I think it was more of just a scare, like I said, because it looks like everything's pretty much trading the same as it was yesterday before it pulled back slightly. So I don't think there's really anything to worry about too much. But with the election coming up, I think there's definitely possibilities that the market will continue pulling back and having these slight pullbacks. I would especially watch out for 1 week before election day and that week leading up to elections because it could be pretty shaky that whole week. But now let's move on to what you guys came here for. And this is some of the reasons why NIO could potentially double in price and get up to $40. So just for beginners, NIO has been on fire this year and they're up over 400%. And it looks like they are becoming the Tesla of China like a lot of people expected. Now I don't know how you can call them the Tesla of China when there is Tesla already in China. But I guess it makes sense because they were started in China. So I guess it somewhat makes sense since they're a Chinese company. But I wouldn't really call them Tesla of China. But for a little comparison between NIO and Tesla, NIO's uptrend is likely to continue because if you look at what NIO is worth versus Tesla, they're only worth $25 billion, where Tesla, on the other hand, is worth $400 billion. So if you guys didn't know, NIO is expected to break into the profits in the next 5 to 6 quarters. And so once they get into the profit margin, then the worth of their company will increase. And I don't think they're going to catch up to Tesla anytime soon. But they also have the biggest market over in China as compared to other EV companies. So they could catch up relatively quickly. It's just a matter of time and whether people enjoy NIO vehicles better than Tesla vehicles over in China. So whoever wrote this article, they think that NIO is going to dominate in China and that they're going to sell a bunch of luxury electric vehicles. And sure, I think they're going to as well. And I think they're going to increase their margins and revenue, and soon they're going to break into the profits. But it's hard to compare them to Tesla because they're two totally different vehicles. One's minimalist and one is looked at as a luxury vehicle. But in my opinion, they're both very luxurious. It's just based on what you would choose personally. But with that aside, I think NIO will easily hit $40 pretty soon. In my opinion, I think they could do it by the end of the year. But if you look at the 12-month price predictions by some analysts, they expect NIO to hit a minimum of around $40 and a potential high of around $150. So even with a median price of around $70 to $80, NIO will easily have surpassed that $40 mark in the next 12 months. But in my opinion, I think they could do it in the next 3 to 4 months. And one of the reasons why I think NIO would hit this $40 mark in the next few months is just because there's been so much talk about NIO lately, and they just came out with that new vehicle, the EC6, which has already been delivered to customers and is already on the market. So you take that into consideration, plus the fact that NIO reported 4,700 deliveries in September alone, that number per month should increase going into fourth quarter. And because of that, the share price should increase as well. So that's just my prediction for the next few months. But in the long term, electric vehicles are the future of transportation. And I don't think anybody would really argue with this because we all know everything is going green and we want to reduce pollution and also cut down on emissions from vehicles. So like I've mentioned before, I wouldn't be surprised if governments started putting in laws and regulations to restrict emissions from vehicles. There's already emissions testing for vehicles right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was cut and that we couldn't have emissions in vehicles in the next 10 to 20 years. So at that point, that's when electric vehicle sales are going to skyrocket, and then stocks like NIO, Li Auto, and all these other young electric vehicle companies, they should really start taking off. I mean, I expect them to take off much sooner than 10 to 20 years. I expect it in the next couple years. But by the time there are laws and regulations for emissions, all these electric vehicle companies are going to be the only auto stocks that you'll really want to invest in. So another interesting thing is that as of 2018, there was a survey taken, and it showed that around 91% of millennials considered buying an electric vehicle for their next car purchase. So that's a huge audience, and around 90% of them said they would consider buying an electric vehicle. So it looks like the EV market is just going to continue going up and growing as we progress. And not only that, but all these EV vehicles, they all have some sort of self-driving technology. And so I think people are drawn to that, not even just because they're electric vehicles and they want to save the planet, but just because these vehicles can somewhat drive themselves. And as a lot of you probably know, Teslas right now have the capability to be full self-driving. There just hasn't been an approved law to allow that to be implemented right now. But once that's approved as a law, and once Tesla is able to do that, you'll see full self-driving vehicles on the road. And so I think that's one big thing that draws people to electric vehicles, not even just because they're electric. And apparently by the 2030s, electric vehicles are going to be able to drive for thousands of miles on one charge, and they'll be able to recharge in minutes rather than 30 to 60 minutes that it takes right now. And hopefully it's going to cost a lot less than an average vehicle right now, as people can figure out how to reduce prices while still maintaining profits. But the main reason why NIO has the upper hand over other EV companies, maybe not so much over Li Auto and XPeng, but over other companies around the world, is that they're in China, and China is the biggest market there is. They have over 1.4 billion people in China, and in 2019 there were 64 million new passenger cars sold, and just under 21.5 million of them were sold in China. So about 1/3 of new passenger vehicles sold in 2019 around the world were sold in China alone. And then on top of this, you add that NIO has government support because the Chinese government wants vehicles to be electric. It's almost like a no-fail business, and they should continue going up pretty much with no end. So again, like I mentioned, I think NIO is easily going to hit $40 by the end of the year. Now, a lot of people would argue that they're not really worth even what they're trading for right now, but the market doesn't always make sense. I mean, people have been thinking since the early 2000s that Amazon's been overpriced, and they've just continued going up. So it's not always based on market cap and earnings and all these other things. Sometimes stocks just continue going up because people are investing in them. And this is something I think will continue happening with NIO as more people hear about them and as they become more widespread around the world, especially if they can expand globally to Europe and to North America specifically. NIO should take off once they expand to those two continents. So for those of you who made it this far into the video, let me know what your guys' price predictions are for NIO down in the comments. Like, what do you think NIO will hit by the end of this year, by the end of 2020? Personally, I think they'll be around that $35 to $40 mark. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Also, as I mentioned earlier, make sure you sign up for Webull. You'll get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.